because I do see a lot of junkets kind of come in, and I have to watch a lot of TV shows, and I find that a lot of stuff can be quite serious, and I don't mean that as a negative. I mean, sometimes serious is good, but watching something like this, and it's just got such a sort of fun and kind of entertaining tonality to it, and I think even though it hasn't got a lot to say, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Is it quite nice to be a part of something like this, and how important is it we still put programmes like this into the world?
Okay, how important is it that at some point in your day, no matter what in the name of God went on, you can sit down, laugh, cry, fall in love, see incredible horses and big old houses? I would put that right up there with a number one essential at the end of my day. Yeah. I do not want to watch people being sad and dying. I want to be entertained before I have my glass of wine and a bath and go to bed.
Whilst you're having your glass of wine and a bath.
While I'm doing all of that.
Yeah, all three.
Yeah, I would have had a beer when watching this, but I watched it at 9 a.m. It's a bit just slightly too early to
Okay,
drink,
well, note to self, next episode, just leave it to, 5:59.
Yeah.
Crack time.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great ensemble as well here. Well, could you talk a little bit about being part of such a wonderful cast? Because it is one of those shows where every single character is just filled with someone who's just got so much charisma, I think.
Oh my gosh, it's great, and it was even better. It was so fun to film. Basically everyone's really wonderful and fantastic actors, but also have a lot of fun and don't, as Vic says, don't take themselves too seriously. So the group scenes were as fun as they looked on camera. I think we had a ball, and I know we always looked forward to it when there were the group days. We were really close really quickly, all of us. I think everyone had also worked with each other before. There's a lot of well-known actors, and it was maybe a reunion for a lot of them.
But also we have a WhatsApp group of us all, and it's called The Most Appalling Thing You Could Possibly Imagine, which we will not tell you, but that just tells you the tone of the fun of the not taking ourselves seriously, and everything goes on there. Births, deaths, life, shoes, hair, and it's just great banter. It's great fun.
Aidan brought up the WhatsApp group, and I was going to bring it up, and I thought maybe I won't, just in case one of you aren't in it. And I wasn't sure. But you are, because you brought it up too.
Yeah,
so, who's the most active person in the WhatsApp group? There's always one person who takes the lead, isn't there?
Ollie set it all up. It depends what's going on. It depends what's going on in... Gary's very chatty. Everybody's very chatty. But there's a lot of chat.
I think everyone's really gives their 2 cents of...
There was nobody quiet in our group, is there?
No.
Of course, this is based on such a popular novel by such a popular novelist. I mean, how familiar were you with this book, if at all? And do you have a kind of, when you do get involved in a project that's based on a book, do you have a kind of a process? Do you like to read it, or sometimes do you like to kind of, I don't know, keep it kind of distant from it, to kind of just treat it as a kind of standalone project? Did you have a kind of, or is it kind of different project by project?
You came to it new.
Well, I actually think I read the book before I was cast in it. I did it during the audition process, which I'm so glad I did. But Taggy's also changed a bit from the novel, and I also felt there's a lot of stuff to honour in Jilly's books, but there's also there's that 2024 gaze that we bring to it, doing it this year, and so I felt like it was important to bring the knowledge, bring myself as a young woman now, and also Taggy in the 80s. So I tried to pair the two, and I really worked from the scripts by the end, because that was what was in front of me. And obviously there's nods to Taggy with her curly brown hair,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You mentioned when I sort of came in, it's very binge-worthy, and it is one of those shows where the second episode finishes, you are just wanting to press play or instantly on the next one. What's your relationship with kind of content these days? Are you do you binge, or do you like to kind of keep it week by week? How do you kind of consume it?
I love a binge. But I've married a man who does not love a binge, and he has self-control. I do not have those words in my vocabulary. So he'll go, no, we'll wait till next week. So he's away in New York. So last night I binged 6 episodes of Night Sleeper, because he's not there to judge me.
I once watched an episode of something myself and my wife were watching.
Yeah.
And
You did it without her?
I did it, and then I just had to pretend I didn't and just watched
Oh,
it
yeah,
again. I
because
was
that's divorceable.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, because I had to watch a whole new show that we had not watched, because if I'd done that, if I watched Slow Horses without him, oh no, that
It
would
was
be...
Slow Horses.
Oh,
I
know. It's, I mean...
Mad, isn't it?
I mean, it's
God,
just
I'm in shock. Have you
below-
seen my face? It's
Yeah,
I
I
can't
did
believe
it.
you've done this.
I know.
Yes.
It was like episode 2 of like season 2, so
No,
it wasn't
doesn't
like
matter.
a late
No,
one.
you
it
know
doesn't
what?
matter.
Don't protect yourself.
I'm done with this.
No way.
Well, she's never going to find out. She doesn't watch my interviews.
I've...
But what was the experience in terms of like that kind of binge-worthy quality to this? That kind of wanting to know more. What was that like getting the kind of scripts? Were you given them as like one by one as you were kind of going all in one go? Did you binge the scripts?
Oh, they changed a lot actually during the process.
Yeah.
I mean, they were. When I got cast, I read them, and I mean, obviously, essentially, they have the framework, but the conversations and the cut scenes or the added scenes, you know, we were lucky. There's a really fantastic scene that we do later on in the series, but I'm not going to spill any information on it. But that was a really exciting moment, getting that halfway through and being like, oh, I'm so happy they have a moment to talk about their relationship with each other. So that was, yeah.
Yeah, it was really lovely. So in terms of the scripts you'd get as they go through a process, there's a production draft, and but before that there's all sorts of different drafts. So you read it and you get so excited, but you can't. It's not set in stone, so you can't actually binge them because you're getting them. The writing process is happening as you're filming.
Yeah, and plots change. Yeah.
And obviously this is set in a kind of different time and world to the likes of kind of Bridgerton or Game of Thrones, but there's a kind of sense of like power is quite a big theme in these kind of sort of shows. What do you think it is about these sort of, because even though they're all completely different stories, they all have sort of slight sort of things that kind of tie them together, I think. What do you think it is about kind of power and the kind of dynamics within that makes such compelling television?
Power, sex, politics, all those things are the big ticket things that make you, as a human being going through your life, make good decisions and bad decisions, and reactionary and non-reactionary. So anything that gives you a big swing of thought process and emotion is gonna be good TV. Otherwise, sit down, flip open the yellow pages and knock yourself out.
There is a lot of sexiness, of course, and obviously because infidelity and kind of desire, they're huge parts of the kind of story and this kind of narrative. There's been some kind of online discourse of late on sort of Twitter and stuff about the kind of validity of sex scenes in the art form in movies and in TV.
Oh, really?
I just want to know where you guys kind of stand on that, because I'm a real defender that I think storytelling should have no boundaries, and we should, if a filmmaker thinks it serves the kind of narrative, it's a good thing. But there's been some sort of discussions online where some people think that,
Why?
Yeah. I'm
fascinated.
Yeah.
Because that's like saying, oh, geez, we can't make a TV show with crying.
Yeah.
Or, do you know what, standing? We shouldn't do standing. It's all part of the human experience, isn't it? Like, wow, that's really interesting. I mean, I think the sex is dealt with really well in this because, A, we were super, super protected when we had to do anything where you were even in your undies, right? Is that you're protected from the top down, but also every single moment of sexual connection is to tell you more about the characters as a couple, plot line, drive the story. So it's another device. You know, you could take a horse and gallop it across the place, and halfway down the horse gets sliced in half, and then the fella falls into the river, and you're like, that told me a story. Don't ride a horse on that field. It's just whatever device you use, and sex is part of life, you hope, if you're winning.
Do you think like shows like Sex Education are kind of helpful in opening a kind of dialogue, particularly for young audiences, and opening that kind of safe space for it to be such a big part of kind of mainstream storytelling?
Yeah, 100%.
So good.
Wow, I feel like you just said it all in that. I just had to nod and say, yes, I agree. Which I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah,
I'm trying
absolutely.
to bring you back on side after the Slow Horses revelation.
How could you? Honestly, actually, do you know what?
But really hard not to turn that on. I get it.
But actually, funny, I was talking of some other projects you guys have been in. I watched the other day, coincidentally, I watched About a Boy again.
Did you?
And it stands up so well, and I found it so nostalgic, and I loved that movie. I was wondering if you ever, is this weird? Do you ever go back and kind of watch stuff you've done? Or if it kind of comes on the television as About a Boy might, would you ever sort of sit down and watch it?
Not really. I tend to know, my clue it's coming up for Christmas time and I need to start shopping is when somebody texts me and then goes, about a poison. I go, ooh, oh my God, December 18. Yes, I should probably start. So that's usually my clue. But I mean, what am I doing? I'll be sitting down and watching myself looking young. And then I'll be looking at Nick Holt. And now, as a little 10-year-old, and you look at Nick Holt now and you're like, so handsome. I knew him as a 10-year-old. That's inappropriate. So, no. But it's always, I guess, fascinating, but also it's going to make me sad.
And just very funny, so I've got time for one more question, because I like to ask hard-hitting questions. But who would you say, and I'm going to give the results of this to the actors themselves, who's got a nicer moustache in this, Aidan Turner or Danny Dyer?
Well, I have to go Aidan. He's my boo.
That's true.
Well, then I should go Danny to even it out.
Okay. So it's 1-1. I'm going to ask the others. And
Yeah.
take these results to
God,
Danny
you
Dyer
can't
at the
do
end
that
of
to
the day.
them. There's going to be a punch-up in a bit. You know, you've got to be careful.
Oh my God, come
what
on.
words you're throwing around.
Let's have a punch-up.
They've got very thick, lovely moustaches.
It would be so much
They've done a
worse
really good job.
if he said, whose moustache is better, Bella or Victoria?
Well, I was...
That would be so much
gonna be a-
worse. That would be real bad. You would not make it out there on a fast horse, let alone a slow horse.
You've done a lot this interview.
I need to go and hang my head in shame. Thank you so much, guys. Lovely to speak to you both. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you